flourishing gymnastics community, it looks like there are a fair number of people. So, let's get on here. New customers, how do we get those people? And again, I'm going to try to be more sensitive to the smaller gym, because when we started out, like I said, we had 121 kids.
Is your membership of the 12 to 1400, is that over your 4 locations?
That's 1,400 at per side.
Just our side.
One
Just
gym.
one gym?
Okay.
Okay.
The other
And
gyms
we're
are
actually-
1,600 and 1,100 and
Wow.
about
Our team gym.
300.
And what amount of space?
The per gym has 12,500 square feet, of which 2,500 is the office space and aerial apparel.
So
sales shop.
10,000.
We're the flagship gym. So all of our main office crew, the HR, the bookkeeper, the owner, they all have offices in our main Lake City location.
So a lot of that space is taken up with non-teaching areas. The other gyms are much more efficient. They're practically all gymnastics space. So there again, we're not bringing you information on how to teach gymnastics here. We're only talking about the management side of and I would kind of just think about it. I'm just mentioning that word management. You know, just as you should, I think, give a regular respect to the sales and registration function as much as you give the gymnastics function, you should think about management. Somebody should be looking toward the long term. And here's an area where your parents, functioning as a board of directors, can really articulate the vision of where we want this program to go, the values that are in that vision that we like, and the goals that we expect to achieve over time, 3 to 5 to 10 years out. Without that, you're just week to week. And you need to have a leader amongst your parents who can think long term and think about what is really viable for your situation. Your situation is a lot different from ours. And so we need to sit down and think, do you have volunteer parents? I don't really know how you're set
Yeah,
up.
we're parent on board.
Okay, so there, somebody should say, well, we're not going to have 100,000 people. We're going to have 20,000 people. And the long-term economic outlook for our community is this. And within that time frame, and that size, we're going to have this many children available. And we expect to be able to capture 3 to 4% of those children in gymnastics. That means we're going to have this many number of kids. And so we need this many square feet, this many staff with these areas of expertise. And if we're going to have that kind of staff, how do we plan for a career for them? How are they going to start as a beginning coach, become an experienced coach, become a senior coach, become a program director, become a site manager, whatever the path, the career path you expect to have for your staff is, you have to have that vision in front of you. And I really think that's where a board of directors and on a parent club, this is perfect for them to be working on, because then they can focus on the vision they have for children. They can develop the policies for the overall management of the program, but they're not going to be concerned about whether Susie has her KPI or not. That's going to be the coach's issue. So I think there's a place for management in this business, but here we're just going to talk about getting customers, talking to them. And the important thing is that you want to send a message to people. Our message is, we know what we're doing. We're not a babysitting operation. Although people try, you know, moms have a thing. They want to show their child gymnastics. They want to show them dance. They want to show them music. They may want to show them these days Japanese, chess, a million other things. But they go around. We have the advantage is we get them first. We get them at the youngest age. If we can show them that we know what we're doing, we profess the value of gymnastics, and that they're getting a good value for their money, we have a relationship which will exist on and off for a couple decades, as long as that child's in the house. We want that relationship. That's the difference between us and Sky High or some other event-oriented program. So, Don't undervalue yourself. Like I said, when we got into gymnastics, everybody was in it until they got a real job. Now, I think up here you have a more professional approach than we did down, or still have down in Seattle and in the States. But don't think of yourself as just babysitting. You want to profess the value of gymnastics and explain it to your parents and your customers. Now, getting out the word. Here's what the things that we have started off with 28 years ago, but don't do anymore. We hardly ever do display advertising. Very rarely do direct mail. We never use radio, even though we have a lot of gyms. Because why? Radio covers all Puget Sound. It's covering areas we don't want to cover. Same for the big newspapers. The metropolitan dailies are no use to us. Neighborhood newspapers, yeah, maybe, depending if they're targeted on our market area. And don't have an answering machine. Just do not do that. No. Because you want to talk. We're going to talk about this.
But you can't talk 24/7. So the answering machine does have some value. Our phone starts ringing at 6 a.m.
Wow.
And if I go into the office at 6 a.m., I'm there to do payroll or something else. I'm not there to answer the phone at that time. But our phone will start ringing at 6 a.m.
So you're saying you don't have your machine at all, like you're off hours?
We do, of course, we have the answer capability. But our goal is to, from 9 until 9, we want to pick up that phone. Salesmen in business kill for the chance to be face-to-face with the customer, or at least on the phone with the customer. Because people are so adept these days at avoiding contact with anybody who's going to sell them anything. And we have people who call us and ask to talk to us.
So if you're dealing with somebody in front, face to face, and your phone rings,
Yep.
do you say excuse me and take the call, or do you allow the answering machine to?
No, I take the call. So people in face-to-face always get priority. I can typically wrap up that face-to-face conversation within a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, right? So if the phone rings, I pick up the phone, I put them on hold, and I go back to dealing with my conversation. If it looks like this conversation is going to take more than a minute, because again, I don't want to make people sit on hold. If I'm on hold for too long, I hang up. I got other things to do. Then I will ask the person in front of me to hold on for just a second. I'll get back on the phone and I will say, I'm so sorry, this is going to take me just a few more minutes. Can I take down your name and number, and when is a good time for me to call you back?
So you do actually interrupt the person in front of you to take the call,
and I try to, you be as polite as you can, and they hear the phone ring. They understand what's happening. It's not that we are not valuing them coming in. They came in. They are going to get first priority, but I still need to be responsible for the other aspects of my job.
What I used to do when I was on the desk, and I think some of the registrars still do, is like this. They know they're not going to be able to talk to this person. They say, I am with another customer. Please let me take your name and number. I'll call you back probably 5 minutes or so, something like that. And they always say yes, and they give me their name and number.
Or they'll give you a specific time.
Right there, and boom, now you're talking to the customer. You want to talk to the customer. You look at our website, the phone number is right there. It's not like most websites where they hide the phone number and the contact information so they don't actually call them. We want them to talk to us, and believe me, it's gold.
That's probably less annoying than I'm going to try to talk to somebody with that phone ringing like that.
And you got 2 people irritated.
Exactly.
One's irritated, and the person who's on hold is irritated.
And when our phone is on hold, if it goes for more than about a minute, it starts to beep at you. Beep, 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 beep. So you don't forget, which is really great, because I will forget that I have somebody on hold. But when you're trying to have, especially if the parent is already having a concern, or if they're already frustrated about something, having that obnoxious beeping is so distracting. I would much prefer to ask the person on the phone if I can call you back. The nice thing with that too is it shows both people, the person you're talking to face to face and the person on the phone, that you really do want to talk to them, that you really are taking an interest in what's happening, and you do want to be able to
The beginning of that relationship, beginning of your relationship, to make it apparent from the very first contact that you want to be in touch with them.
And we want to be respectful of their time. If I know that you're going to be on hold for 5 minutes, they will be more appreciative. If we tell them, I'm sorry, this is going to take, like you said, this is going to take a little bit longer than I thought. I don't want to make you wait. Can I call you back? And they appreciate that.
Everybody understands business. I've never had anybody complain about that, not once in 28 years. So this is the beginning of your word of mouth. This is the most effective way of selling. Of course, you do that by doing a good program. you are focused on progressing the children. We are focused on progressing the children ahead. We're not just running a fun class to play on the funny equipment for 45 minutes or an hour and a half. We want the child to progress. Our characteristic, our value is strength, skill, and character. Well, everybody understands strength and skill, but character is that grit to think about what happened, make a correction, and try again. Pick yourself up and try again. And we want to instill in the child that perseverance and that understanding that success can come for large goals by little tiny steps, progressing from little tiny goals to big goals. And we talk about that from the moment we start talking to the customer on the first phone call. I tell our instructors, when your mothers ask you how the child is doing, the first thought in your mind is she making the corrections or am I making the corrections? Whereas coaches, we all want to tell them. I've been a coach. Well, at some point, I want my instructors to translate the responsibility for progress to the gymnast. We want the gymnast to start controlling her world, or his world, and making progress. So, that's part of your word of mouth. You're doing a professional job. That word gets out, and it's so fast. It's just amazing how fast. And together, today, moms are not just talking to their friends, they're talking to everybody. They're on Yelp, they're on listservs, they're on all kinds of blogs. These are all the things that we kind of keep track of in the background. Our IT guy, about a third of his time, is seeing what's being said about Seattle Gymnastics in all these different forums. And so you want to know what your rep is. It may not be favorable. But again, you want to talk to the customer. And a well-trained staffer must answer the call. So listen to this. Whoops.
Thank you for calling Seattle Gymnastics Academy in Lake City. This is Lisa.
Hi, this is John Sweeney, and I've got a 7-year-old who's, well, she's kind of shy, but she's really good at dance, and she thinks she might like to do a little gymnastics. Where would you folks at?
Oh, well, fantastic. Okay, so you said it's a 7-year-old girl, and you said she's not done gymnastics before, but she has some other activities, correct?
Yeah, she's really good at dancing.
Perfect. I think the best place to get her started would be in our level 1A class. It's a beginner gymnastics class for girls who are 6 and 7, and they're going to be working on the basic gymnastics skills using all the different gymnastics equipment.
Well, I just want you to catch the fluidity that Lisa has when she's talking to a customer. Her registrars and she know this pitch by heart. And I'll try to throw her some curves as I'm talking to her, but she's ready for it. Are you going to just put her in with a bunch of other kids who've already done this?
For at this point, no, the session is just getting ready to get started, so she'll be in with kids, some who have done gymnastics and some who have not, who will be beginners just like she is. And the nice thing with this as well, is that she will be able to be in a progressive class. So even if some of the kids are doing higher level skills than what she is doing, she's still going to be working on the same types of skills, so she can see where she can progress to.
And so, are some of these kids bigger or older?
They're all going to be 6 and 7 years old, so they're all going to be right in the same age range. And it's nice because it's just a once-a-week class, so at this point, she can just kind of get her feet wet and see how she likes gymnastics.
Well, that sounds good because she's really shy. You know, she has a problem even at school.
Okay, does she do better with male or female instructors?
Oh, girls, definitely.
Girls, definitely. Well, you know, I have a Tuesday class at 5:45 with a coach I think might be a really good fit. Would that time work for you?
Could it be earlier? You know, like 4?
Okay, I have a 4:30 class on Friday that we could do.
Ooh, right. Oh, okay, well that would work, but the nanny would have to bring her. Can the nanny do everything?
She can. Now, there is a waiver form that we need to have mom or dad fill out, but it's something that you can print off of our website. You can fill it out, and then the nanny can bring it in and she brings in your child.
So, can I just send her to try it, or do we have to pay up front?
So you may do a risk-free trial. We call it a risk-free trial because you guys can come in, you can do one class free of charge. If you like then you pay for your trial as part of your session. Otherwise, the trial class is complimentary.
Okay, and so, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, we would want to get you scheduled for the trial. We want to make sure that we're not gonna overload our teachers. So if you think that that Friday class would work for you, do let us know and we can get you guys scheduled for it.
Oh, okay, so the trial is that specific time, not just any time?
Exactly, that specific time. Now, if you guys trial the Friday class, you love the class, but you decide that Fridays don't work, you can still sign up in any of our other days in that same level.
Same one. Just, what if she isn't good enough to be in that class?
Well, you know, it's a beginner class, so most kids are just fine. My assumption is going to be if she's feeling nervous or if she feels like she's not good enough, to give it a couple of classes. We are going to assume that the kids in this class know absolutely nothing about gymnastics.
That's
So
good.
we're going to take them, right through all of the basics. Now, the first couple of classes sometimes can be a little intimidating. There are a lot of kids out on the floor, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of things happening, but by about the second or third class, the kids are so loving what they're doing that they kind of forget about all the external noise and stimulation in the gym.
So is she gonna be doing anything like really high or, dangerous?
Well, gymnastics is inherently dangerous. However, our coaches are all excellently trained. They all are CPR and first aid certified, and they've all been through the USAG training on how to be a coach. Plus, all of our gym is extremely patterned. So, yes, of course, she could get injured, but we really try hard to eliminate as many ways for your child to get injured as possible.
Okay, so if I send Annie the nanny, does she have to have my credit card or a check or cash or what?
So for this first one, no. Now, after this trial, if you guys, I would recommend your daughter come home and talk with you about it. If you guys think it's going to be a good fit, then you can call and we can do all of the signups over the phone with either a Visa or a MasterCard.
Oh.
Do keep in
We
mind
can
though.
sign up online?
Or online, absolutely.
Ooh, so do we have to do the trial class then?
You do not have to do the trial class, but do keep in mind that once you sign up and pay, there are no credits or refunds.
Ooh.
So exactly, we do want to make sure that you guys are going to be happy in the class before you put any money down.
Yeah, I can see. Well, maybe I should talk to can you sign me up for the Friday, what do you call it?
The risk-free trial,
The trial,
absolutely.
yeah. Sign me up for that.
Okay. And then if for some reason it looks like you guys are not able to make it in on Friday, just give us a call so we can open up that trial spot to somebody else.
Great. Okay, what information do you need?
So the point is, be ready. Just after you've been on the desk for a while, you kind of know the major questions. And at one point, I don't know if we still have this, we just started writing down all the questions that parents ask us so that our registrars could, as part of their training, go through that and say, well, what? Our development class is 3 to 5 or 4 to 7 or whatever. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Don't skip those guys. Okay, now these days, besides just talking to you directly, there's a lot more online talk. So when I didn't actually know the area around here, so I just said, Siri, folks, show me what's in gymnastics. I mean, they're going to find everything that is related to gymnastics on a Google search in 5 seconds. So it's very efficient. And if you're not going to answer the phone when they call, they have 3 other alternatives. And the nice thing is that just as in the old days when people will drive to an out-of-the-way place to go to gymnastics, they will search for it. They will search for it online as well. So you do not actually have to do a lot of stimulation of inquiry. Now maybe, I'm not sure about a really small area, maybe there you would get some benefit from regularly reminding people, oh yeah, the gymnastics league is growing and going. When they do come, I'm going to emphasize something that may not be apparent. You want to make a good impression, and that is a matter of basically design. And here's where you need to invest a little money. At least we have found it very pays off. You want to have someone who knows what they're doing design your front page. All of this is done not by me, not by a template that we got off the internet from somewhere or from some supply house, but by a designer who actually came to the gym, looked at what we were doing, watched the kids, took some pictures, came up with all different kinds of approaches, but really shrank it down to the essentials. Classes, parties and camps, the preschool, and then made that detail up here where you can get to the information fast. Contact information, like you said, is right up front. You're not going to hide that. You want to talk to them. This is actually what's called a slider. It changes every now and then. The picture changes now and then. But you want to anticipate the questions, and you know what the questions are because you're answering the phone. Your registrars can tell you exactly what the questions are. That's another value to the registration function. They are your ears, your intelligence, your commercial intelligence, because they are constantly talking to the customers. So here's the news section, the newsletter if they wanted. Here's the detail on the classes, but only 3 or 4 things. Now there's other approaches out there, but we'll get to those in a minute. In this deal, you want someone who knows what they're doing because the aspects of your site convey that message that we're talking about. We want to reassure the parents that we know what we're doing, your child is safe, everybody's heard about gymnastics accidents, and your child is going to be, in some measure, successful and progressive. So everything that we put on the site, from the font, to the video, to the sound, to the colors, it all has to feed into that message of professionalism. So you notice on our front, there's no mention of our team. You know, there must be 350 kids in various stages of the team program, but we don't put it on the front page because how many mothers come in shopping for team? Nobody. They're not looking for it, so don't put it up there. That comes later. Even the font tells something. We're going to see Little Jim's font in just a minute. You know, is this a little kids program or is this for school-age kids or teenagers? If you're going to have video, that's a sophistication that shows that you have some technical capability. If you have a clean layout, you winnow things down, you know what's important, what's not. And I think color tells a lot of stories. At least our designers always say that. And so you want a color that is vibrant, exciting, alive. You don't want drab, muted, you don't want black, you don't want gray. You want something lively. So let's take a look at a professionally designed site. This is Little Gym in Seattle. And the colors all match. They're in current colors. They're popular. They have this funny little, I don't know what to call these things.
Yeah.
Can you see these little gidgies, clouds and princess things and ears and stuff like that? That's a theme that carries through your site. So as you build your site, your designer will probably give you a format so that you can easily maintain it. And your customer, when they come to this, they expect the same affect, I call it an affect, on every page. Okay? More little wings, more little stuff here, more matching colors, more things that are important to you as a customer. So your customer, when they come, they want to be shown that you understand what's important to them. You're not showing a kid doing double flyaway off a high bar because their 5-year-old probably doesn't, they don't want their 5-year-old doing anything like that. So show what's important to the customer. Now here's another approach that I don't recommend. It's the garbage sink approach. Go to LA School of Gymnastics and it's just a long page, it goes down further than this. All of these things are just mashed together. They're not even links. So you can click on this and it won't go anywhere. It doesn't explain anything. It's just a mashup of stuff. And hopefully you like the fact that there's some classes. Hopefully you like that there's a gymnastics meet coming up. Hopefully you like this and that and the other thing. But don't do this. Know your customer. Give them what's important. Oh yeah, this is a mistake I made. I don't know if I could. one time I was in a hurry, so I just put this picture of one of our gyms up here. Well, it's dull. It's not clear. It's, it's weird. It's ugly. So the gym is actually very pretty, but you wouldn't be able to tell it from this. So thankfully my designer said, whoa, that's no good. Got rid of that for me. Now, next step, once you've got your thing, and remember, when you're talking to your customers now, potential customers, you want to do a search engine optimization. And here I recommend having somebody come in. Get a techie, you can get them from Craigslist or a temporary service agency. They'll spend a week going through the code for your site, and they will change your meta language and your tags and make you responsive, make you attractive to search engines that are always searching the web looking for information about certain subjects. So it takes them about a week. Once they're done, it's done, because it doesn't change. Go ahead.
What's a suitable cost to pay for that?
We paid $422 to do this once, and we used it for years. Because once you come up with the things that people search on, which is usually just gymnastics and the location, you have done it. And the search engine comes along and sees that you have tagged those things in your meta language, and from then on, if you look for sale in gymnastics, you're going to find us. You would find, I don't know where you're at, but the same thing for you. And make it your local area. Put that in as many places as you can. For instance, our Ballard site, as many places as we can on the pages, we've mentioned Ballard. So that the search engine looks at it and sees 27 mentions of Ballard, and then also 27 mentions of gymnastics. Well, this seems like a gymnastics site. And if anybody asks about gymnastics in Ballard, it goes right there. And that's money that you probably can get cheaper than that, but it's money well spent. I tried to do it myself. I thought I was a tech whiz. Another mistake. This is the most successful advertising we have. AdWords. You can start out for free. That's even better. You will end up paying for it in the end. I don't know, this is small type. Can anybody see this? By the way, we thought about printing all this out, but it's just a mound of paper that thick. And so what I'd like to do, if you have email, I will send you these PowerPoints, and then you can just go through them at your leisure.
Thanks.
Yeah. So give.
Maybe Anna has the list, maybe we can just pass it around.
Yeah,
Just goes here, so.
Yeah, if you want the email, just tack your email address on here, then we'll shoot the whole thing to you. We'll start it down this way. But this changed us. Why? Because moms today have phones, and they live on those mobile phones. They search on mobile phones. They search for dog sitting, they search for gymnastics, they search for piano lessons, they search for stuff. Shazam, who do they use? Google has 70% of the market. And if Google has it, Bing will have it. So once you take care of Google, you're in good shape. So each person, this says create an ad campaign. You have two of them. One is for the desktop that people use, and one is for the mobile phones. So they are served up differently by Google, and that's good for you because a lot of people use their phones rather than their desktops. And you want to have two little campaigns. They're really easy to do because less than Google makes it just simple. All you have to come up with is 3 lines describing your program. And if you looked at ours, it would be like Seattle Gymnastics, recreational apparel, and something or other, I forgot what it is, and the address. And then they automatically include your website, so they're going to go to that place where you prepared your presentation to them. And boom, they know where you are, they know how to reach you, they're on your website, they can register right then, or they can call you. So I build our campaigns, you can have as many as you want, but I build them around gymnastics, recreational gymnastics, parties, and indoor playground. And by the way, indoor playground, does that term?
It's like a drop-in. Yeah.
Okay, so what that is for children 5 and under with their mothers. Well, a mother with a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old is, and if she's living at home with them, she is because she's living with a 4-year-old 24 hours a day. They want to get out. Well, we have the perfect thing for them. For $4, they can come and their child can spend an hour on all the low stuff in the gym. They can't get up on high bars or the beams and that kind of thing. And the kids love it. I mean, it's just a huge, colorful, exploratory environment for a 1 to 5-year-old. And the mothers, it turns out, like it because they get to socialize with the other mothers. So they're yakking and talking about this child's having this issue, this child's doing so well, this child, oh, she just loves to swing. I have seen a 3-year-old, you know how a 4-inch mat's about like that, spend an hour jumping off that 4-inch mat onto the foam. And then falling right back up. The mother doesn't care. You know, the child goes where they want to, they have a great time, but what is it for you? It's that relationship starting. That mother remembers the good time she had there. She remembers it's gymnastics. Well, if I'm interested in gymnastics, why don't I just at least check out that place I was there 3 years ago? Now Susan's 6 and she's ready to do something more. So you have the advantage. You are in touch with those parents early on. Early on. We have kids as young as 1 coming in. And all they do is kind of mooch their way up the cheese mat. But the mother now knows about you. She knows where you are, and you put your most personable people out there on the floor with them, just to make sure they don't try to jump off something dangerous. But those personable people are talking. They don't have to put a sales pitch on you. You say, oh boy, like little kid seems pretty adventuresome. Well, of course my little boy's adventuresome. He's the most aggressive little boy in the world. He's similar to this leads to, well, you know, we do have a class for kids like that. If you're interested, just check it at the front desk. That's all you gotta do.
Does it not work in the opposite? Because they're going to pay more for that registered class than a drop-in class.
Oh, wait a minute.
Right? Because they're going to get skill, instruction, and development and everything.
Yeah.
But what we found was people who could do a drop-in with no commitment whenever they want, cheaper, they pull the kids out of the structured class and throw them in that. And we actually saw a decline in our registered classes for those drop-in. I can only afford it now and then. I'll go when I want. I don't have to worry. We'll go babysitting when somebody's napping. I can just, and they end up doing more of the drop-in.
If they can't afford the regular class, if you haven't shown them that what you're going to provide in that class is of value,
Exactly.
then, yeah. Go ahead and go for it.
I mean, and there are some families that is a great outlet for them. We have, I would say, more than half of our kids who come to indoor playground are also enrolled in classes. They like to be able to do both. Now, like you said, if you, as a coach, can't explain to the families why doing an actual gymnastics class is going to be more beneficial than just coming in and doing indoor playground, you're not doing your job. They can go to the park. Why even come to indoor playground? They can go out to the park when it's sunny and do it for free. It's basically the same thing, right? They're getting to climb, they're getting to run, they're getting to jump. But we actually have something of value, and we actually are teaching them a skill. We're teaching them gymnastics, and we want to be able to really promote that in indoor playground.
What time do you do?
We have 3 different options. We do it Monday through Friday from 11:30 to 12:30. We also do it Mondays and Wednesdays from 2:15 to 3:15, and we also do it on Saturdays from 11:30 to 12:30. So we do take into consideration what our classes are. Obviously, our classes bring in more money than our indoor playground. So we're not going to give up the class times to run an indoor playground. We also take into consideration when these little kids' naps are, when they're in school. So we try to offer it multiple times throughout the week so that we can try and get as many families to come in as they can. And we have families that come in every day. Same families, every day.
The moms groups, you know, the play groups, they come as a group. They have
We
parties
moms
there.
groups that come in all the time.
They use the indoor playground for all kinds of things. But it's the contact we're after. And not only is it the contact, but they're paying us. So it's great. But anyway, back to AdWords. Only 2 things to say about that. The simplest campaign was free, at least it was when we started. I haven't checked for like a year or 2. But don't sign up for what's called the display network. Write that down. No display network. And restrict the search area to 15 to 20 minute drive times around your site. So you can do that. Google, you have to search through a few options, but then they will not even respond to somebody in New York who's asking about Surrey Gymnastics. They'll just say, forget it, they're not in the search area, so we're not going to serve up an ad for them. And along with the marketing, you get a tremendous amount of information. I can go over all this stuff, but you can find out who and where and when people are coming to you. You have a lot of management options in here. I'm not going to go over all of those, but if you want to tweak your campaign, they can do it for you. Now, the second place that's really good is Google Places. Everybody know what this is? So if you go to maps.google.com and say Gymnastics Delta, a couple pins are going to show up on the map. Hopefully this one will show up. And each one of those pins carries a site, address, phone number, and an ad if you want. You can put a special offer on that little pin. More and more people are switching from the text search to this visual search. So you want to be ready for them. And again, this is totally free. Something you really want to get done. Again, you get tremendous reporting. If you just stuck in Gymnastics South Seattle, you'd see all the gymnastics that's in the south end of Seattle, including us over here. But here's the circus guys, here's a little yoga studio actually, and this is, I forgot, West Seattle. But that's how easy it is for someone to find a gymnastics program in your area. Again, you get tremendous reporting. They show you how many contacts you've had, how many people have actually taken action and followed up and gone to your site. And they'll tell you where they were when they asked for directions to drive to your gym. So you can find out, well, what do you know? Our gym's here, but people up here are driving to our gym. And thank God, people from this area are driving here. These people are going there. Only the people that live in the water are not coming to the gym. That's good. So this is tremendous marketing information. You watch this for a couple months, and you're going to be able to draw a line exactly where your customers are coming from, or willing to come from. Our experience is that in Seattle's traffic, 15 minutes, 20 minutes is the most the moms want to spend on driving the child to a gymnastics lesson. I don't know how it is up here. Maybe, where was I the other day? It was even longer. Oh, it was north in Marysville. North of Marysville, people were willing to drive almost 25 minutes because it's just spread out. But know how long your parents are willing to do, and less traffic. Yeah. So, those are the fun things. There's one other thing I'd recommend for you. And again, this is all talking to the customers, finding out about the customer, finding out where they are, what they're interested in. Google Analytics. They give you a little bit of code, and you put it in your web code, either you or your techie, and this is something you can hire. You don't have to have anybody on staff to do this kind of thing. You can get from a temporary agency to spend an hour looking on your code, or do you have Craigslist up here? Yeah, Craigslist has lots of people looking for short gigs. Lots of them. And once they do that, it tells you everything about the viewers of your site that can be legitimately covered. Not going to get their first aid, social security number. What do you guys have up here for? It's not social security, it's something else.
Insurance.
Social insurance number. By the way, how do you say Tawasa? I'm trying to think about that. Is that a silent T? So Watson.
Yeah.
Okay. But you will find out that you have viewers in Russia, and South Africa, and China. Actually, you don't. You just have people who are searching on the web looking for vulnerable computers and that kind of thing. But it will show you pretty much where your people are coming from. There will be more data than you can handle. But if you should suddenly see that all of your clicks go to zero, you'll know there's an issue out there with your customer search activity. Nobody's coming to your website. Something changed. What happened? What did we do? So you want to kind of look at this at least, once every couple of weeks. You can set the time frame for anything you want. It'll show you the clicks. Down here is a whole bunch more information about just everything.
So is that an email that comes to you, or is that a flag, or do you is it just on the website, you log in and check?
Yeah, you gotta log inside. And they will, well, the way I remember it is when they send the bill every month, said, we're about to charge you a credit card for $500, and here are the things you should look at. And every now and then they come and say, you know, we've noticed about your site that only this kind of person is clicking on. You should do this, that, or the other thing to do more or less. Now, you may not want to, but if we suddenly are serving our ads to people who are 70 years old, we want to stop doing that and make our ads more efficient. So,
And obviously this is a free service, so why are they billing you?
not Google Analytics.
Oh, okay,
Google Places is free.
oh, okay.
There's 3 of them. AdWords, Google Places, and Google Analytics. Actually, I don't get billed for Google Analytics either. I just get billed for AdWords.
You get billed for AdWords?
Yes. AdWords cost me.
Oh, I
Places
have a hard
doesn't.
time, you said AdWords is free.
Was free to start.
Initially, the very first campaign you do is
Oh, I
free.
see.
They're just trying to suck you in.
Yeah, okay.
So how much do you pay?
We now spend a little over $1,800 a month on AdWords for all 4 sites. So if you search for gymnastics in South Seattle or Columbia City or Ballard or Lake City or any neighborhood that's in that area, you're going to get served up one of our sites. And that's how Google makes their money.
What kind of percentage is that of your marketing budget?
That's practically all of it.
Practically all of
Because our word of mouth is so good, we stopped doing display advertising, yellow pages advertising, direct mail. We used to do a lot of that when we first started out. But now, and we are in a very tech-heavy town. I don't know if that's the case here. But when we did a survey of our customers and they were classified by their occupation, there were like 800 techies, and then there's 12 lawyers, and then there's 6 working people, and so we're off the charts on tech in Seattle.
So can we talk about word of mouth for just a second?
Yeah.
Word of mouth is it's so important. And I gotta tell you, you get one good interaction and then we'll tell 5 or 6 people. You get one bad interaction and now it's posted on their mom's blogs, and now you've got 5,000 people reading this blog, seeing your bad interactions. So it is really important. Well, yes, we're gonna talk about the policies a little bit later, but yes, we do very strict policies. But just because we have no credits or refunds policy doesn't mean the parents can't have a good interaction with you in regards to that. We want to
But
really
you
try
need a
and protect.
professional on the phone.
Yeah, we really want to protect our word of mouth advertising. I mean, it's so amazing. We actually have a couple of families that are on the Moms Groups networks, whatever one it might be, and they've actually sent us the link. Hey, just so you know, so-and-so is saying this, and these many people have seen it. Here's what they're saying. If you want a chance to respond to it, here's how you do it. That's loyalty, if they're willing to tell us what the other customers are saying. Yeah.
Do you do any internal promotions or referral incentives?
No, we really don't. We do ask our current customers how they heard about us. We have bring a friend day for our playground sometimes.
I take it back now and then, not a promotion, but we do surveys, what we call surveys. We have a little card that says $5 for your opinion, and they can take it out in ice cream or cash, they're for sure choice. And we only ask 1 or 2 questions, and we just pass that out to a whole bunch of people and see what comes back. Also, you're really surveying by these people. You should, if you're the management side or the coaching side, you should go to those people now, maybe once a week, and just see, what are you hearing? Is the price too high? Is this program unpopular because of this or that? What are the moms telling you? They hear it. And if you don't ask, you don't get the word. She just mentioned social media. This sounds like it's a great way of being in touch, but it's really tough to do. The one that's important, I think, are the moms groups. Facebook, everybody's got Facebook's page. Twitter, oh, Twitter twice. Yeah. Yelp, the formal review sites. But look, this is time and staff intensive. If you're a small gym, you don't have time for this. You really don't. Most you could probably do is have the Facebook page, tell all your parents to like you and automatically get announcements and information and keep up your Facebook page. Even that, we found, and we have 95 people in the company, it's tough to get people to just, oh yeah, you know, we did so well, and we just put up an announcement, or whatever it is. Oh, we're gonna have this extra P&L, or we're gonna be closed. It's tough to get people to put that on the Facebook page. So you need somebody exceptional if you're gonna do this. Some intelligent, creative soul who's outgoing. And it's important, I'm told, and we're working on this. We think we have found a voice that can be consistent across all the different media that you could potentially use. But given that people search for you, it's probably not strictly necessary. That said, we run a Facebook page, it's mostly for announcements, but now and then we say, hey, how about doing second and regional, yada, yada, yada. Try to shout out to people who should get some props. Moms groups. You know, everybody knows what those are? Are you, anybody in one? Any mothers here? Not one?
It might not be as big up here.
Motherhood?
No, long group. Long groups are typically social networks where people can go online and communicate about, with typically through blogs, about businesses that are good, restaurants that are kid-friendly, what to do when your kid is throwing a temper tantrum in the bathroom and won't come out. I mean, any and everything that you could ever possibly think of. It's a way for them to connect, particularly the stay-at-home moms that need social interaction. They need adult content. That's a really great way for them to get in contact with each other.
It's like this. Look on your Google search, you say Seattle Mom Group, you're going to come up with a list. This actually goes down umpteen pages. Notice that they're usually organized around neighborhoods. Here's the Ballard, Belltown, Capitol Hill, Columbia City. These women hook up with each other and they talk to each other over the internet. And so,
I think it's sad. The technical stuff. Do you get off your phones, people, and go have a coffee together? It's just terrible.
I think it would still be happening in your community though, wouldn't it? You know, it's a small community so that people know each other.
Yeah, they're all at the parks and they're not, well, some of them are obviously, but I think it's really sad that you walk down the street, more people are in the phones saying hi,
Oh, yeah.
passing on the sidewalk.
I was at the theater the other night, there's the women's line to go to the bathroom. They're all, every single one texting to somebody. They're not talking to each other, what about the play in a second? Well,
Texting to people across the room. Yes, like.
well, Seattle can be weird. I mean, it is a very tech community.
I was going to say, Joyce, just to give you an example, whether we like it or not, I just did Surrey Moms Group, and I am on page 3.
There, I just think it's kind of a pathetic pseudo-visiting.
Totally, but it's real.
Yeah, go sit down.
Okay.
Lunch is coming.
Okay, Twitter. You know, the only person in your gym who should probably be doing Twitter is the team coach. You know, and be really careful about that because of the potential for bad feelings and relationships that shouldn't be developing between coaches and kids. So we discourage and we have a policy against using Twitter, but if you were going to do that, I would not do it for the rec side, I would do it for the team side. Now here's one you probably have to follow. Do you guys use Yelp up here? Nobody? There's Yelp, or is there something like it? It's basically a site where people review the services in the community. And you can sign on, you can have a commercial account. Ours, take the basic one, which is free. You sign Yelp. And you find in and respond if you want to. But here's where, whoops, go back. This is where all your warts will be exposed. If somebody gets mad at you, they can get back at you. They just go to Yelp or someplace and they write up a review. This is the worst place to smell like feet. And the instructor at the front desk was mean to my kid. She pulled her hair and the person, oh, you know, it goes on and on. Not very many, but some. And you can reply, be really temperate and professional about it, your reply.
Do people put their name to these complaints?
They put like Gene L.
Oh, okay.
You can respond privately. They have a link to them that you can talk to them. Gee, I'm really sorry. What happened? We had a woman who, this was 3 years ago, she said, my child broke both arms in her gym. This is the most dangerous place in the entire world. I would never send my child there. Well, we have records of every accident in our gym for the last 28 years. We've never had a double broken arm. And so we were at a loss. We just said, we don't have any record of such an incident. I'm very sorry. But we didn't go, this woman's lying, she's drunk, yada, yada, yada. Don't get into a fight online. Just
I would spiral out of
say
control.
this, we just don't know. We don't know this woman, we don't know the incident.
And if they don't tell us that there's an issue, we can't try and fix it. So that's, again, we're having that good communication, that good relationship with your family is really important. They need to feel comfortable enough to be able to come up to you and say, hey, there is an issue. Hey, my kid got injured. Hey, the coach was mean to my child and made her cry. Whatever the issue may be, we can't fix it if we don't know about it.
But it's like gossip, you can never get to all of it or.
Well, and that's one of the big things. Most of the comments that are up there are going to be negative. If people are happy about it, they very rarely comment.
And if they do, you should go on and thank them. What we do is if we get even a negative one, we'll say, thanks for taking the time to do the review. Because they tell you things like, this last one was funny. Yeah, the gym smells like old feet. We have fixed that. We are working really hard on fixing that. That's the first thing she said. And the bleachers are the worst place to sit in the world. And some of the equipment needs replacing. Well, but my kid loves this. I've been here for 3 years, and here's why I do this. So there's going to be a mix. This was a really. I just sent her a thank you. Thank you for taking the time, because she wrote 4 paragraphs about Seattle Gymnastics. And I think you should, whatever you comment, you should thank you for doing what we do, first of all, and secondly, here's what we're doing to fix it. This site comes with more information too. You can see that the people actually do check on Seattle Gymnastics in Yelp. So it's not like we can completely ignore it. And whatever the equivalent is here, I think you should be aware of it at least. You don't have to respond or interact or anything, but be aware of how many people are wandering through that site checking you out. Okay, I was going to talk a lot about indoor playground, but we've already done that, so I'm going to skip through that. I think it's always fun to tell the parents that you're free and the kid costs $4. And $4, what's $4 these days? Really, it's just. But one of our gyms grossed $6,000 last month, just on indoor playground. $6,000. That's a lot of money to me.
So Ryan.
I was wondering when this question was.
So we're tracking birthday parties of first-time visitors who come a second time who need a casual insurance and stuff like that. How does that affect the indoor playground?
One time would be the one-time drop-in. Then you have up to 8. Right? Is it 8?
So you still have to track every kid that came in and then at some point kick in their insurance.
We make the insurance on the birthday.
Yeah, let's, can we?
You know, you do first day insurance day, how you pay insurance.
Yeah.
Just easier.
Do they pay a full year, or do they pay the casual?
They pay the full year also. Last week of summer, better time.
Moving right along. Okay, I'll wrap this up, and then we'll have a little time for questions, but answer the phone. You do want to talk to your people. That's the start of that relationship you want to build, and that relationship is the basis for your professional career. So, it's important. Keep up your website, use AdWords and Google Places at least. Oh, I forgot one thing about review sites. Down in our area, Google reviews are now more popular than Yelp reviews. There's more of them. So when you do Google Places and you click on those buttons, down at the bottom you'll see here's their website and here's the reviews that have been done on this site. So be aware of that change in the market out there. So you now want to track Google's reviews as well. And be careful about social media. Do run into a playground. As long as, okay.
You said that your, I remember the school age one is open gym.
Yeah.
And when do you run that?
Saturdays. So Open Gym, for those of you who can hear me, is for our kids who are ages 6 and up, currently enrolled, or a level 2 and above. So we're only marketing to those kids that are currently enrolled and are capable of being out on the floor without specific direction. We run it on Saturdays.
That's event coaching, so we'll have somebody on bars, we'll have somebody on pit, we'll have somebody on tumble track, somebody on floor. The coaches are coaching by event rather than by class.
And then the kids get to go and they can work on whatever skills they want within their level.
We offer
run
this
that-
for free, this is another part of your relationship. You know, you want the kid to practice as much as they can. Well, this is when they can come for free and work on what they're working on.
And we do that on Saturdays from 12:30 to 1:30.
So a little commitment you make in terms of staffing time, but it's really part of that relationship.
What is your legal ratio down there? Goes to half?
For us, for our preschool age, so if they are 5 and under, we do a 6-to-1 ratio. If they are 6, it's a 7-to-1 ratio. If they're 7 and older, it's a 10-to-1 ratio.
Actually, mostly 8 to 1.
The higher levels, we can do more because we can trust the kids not to do
But the rec class is generally 8 to 1. Any other questions about starting that relationship with the new customer? That's really what we're out to do. Okay, we're going to take a break.
I just wanted to mention one thing that for others, we do a drop-in on Wednesdays at 5:15. And it's usually sold out because we can only take about 35 people. So starting at 8:30 in the morning, we sell wristbands. And we only sell them that day and you can't phone in for them, you have to come. But we sell those paper wristbands that you put on and people have responded really well to that. And they know the system and some days we're not sold out, and, you know, sometimes we remember not always to put it on Facebook if we are sold out. But it has worked really well for us. And then we don't have people coming at 5:15 disappointed that they can't come in.
What age group is that?
It's for school age now. Actually, anybody can come, but not very many little guys come because it's usually average age is around 10 or 11.
And are those kids our older classes or no?
No, they can be a drop-in. They have to, with our gymnastics insurance, as I said to you, they have to register with Gymnastics BC. But no, they don't. I think it's an idea to have them in classes, something for us to discuss.
Charlene,
Yeah.
we must have other programs running at that time.
We don't have too much. What do we have running at 5:15?
There's a small superstar group on the one side of the gym.
So, but we designated that because we saw that there was a need for that level of kids to have a drop-in, so we made that time available. And Wednesdays is not a drop day for us.
Okay, thank you.
So how many gyms are, let's see, 250 children or less right now? How many are 500 or less? And how about 750 or less? 1,000 or less? Great. So we really have quite a range. And like I said, I wanted to be more responsive to the smaller gyms because we started that way. And I would want to go back to that whole relationship thing. When you're small, you know everybody. If you have got 200 people in the gym, you know every single person there, and you have that relationship. As you get bigger, you start to get a little bit distant from your customers, and you have to use those policies, like the open gym, like the indoor playground, like the makeup, like the what we just talked about, open gym, to reaffirm that relationship in their minds. And you have to step up the form of communications with those people. The newsletter, the Facebook, the postings, all that sort of thing. So I'm wondering, in the large gyms here, say over 1,000, over 750, do you folks use newsletters? Or is that just old news?
We don't email out shows for our recreational, like, yeah, we just post it on it's on our website, on our Facebook, you can grab it, it's printed out in person, but we don't email out to our recreational group.
When you say print out in person, you hand it to them?
It's like where our brochures are, it's our newsletter that you can pick it up and read it.
And how many do you print out each time?
Like 25, and maybe we'll have to print another bunch of them, maybe 50.
See, I'm wondering whether newsletters are old news.
Well, we went to Creighton and I went to a session about a couple months ago that the sports was together at the Tech Summit. Lisa and I were there. And one of the things that the guy said was to always make sure that you track the your email, and I had started using MailChimp.
Yeah.
And MailChimp gives you the readership, so you know how many people opened your email. So, and he said to break it down in a smaller community groups as you could, so then it was relevant to their information. So I have one for active starter parents, I have one for whatever, for different subgroups even. So then when you're sending them a note, that you personalize it to them as much as you can, but really the body is very much the same because it's gym news. But if it's something that's relevant to the high school program, then I don't put it for preschoolers or school age. So I try to
So you break it
pick and
up.
choose. So I have all these things that I want to talk about with the gym, but that's more relevant to this group or that group. So I start, pulling it apart and just giving the bullets that are just for that. And then I know exactly my readership for each of the subgroups.
And what was it called, MailChimp?
MailChimp.
We have constant contact.
Yeah.
And actually, we have a person who does nothing but that, but not full time. She's
Yeah.
just part time. But she could do that, and constant contact by mail.
It's the same, yeah.
Yeah, we'll break out as a model. I'll also tell you who emails are bad. How many people have online registration systems? So that's coming up. Do other people use newsletters, or? I mean, we only had 20 people who picked up the newsletter here, so.
We email it, send it down, we put it online.
Well, that's what one of my managers told me last week. She says, we're sending out this. Yeah.
We do a newsletter, we put every child's name on it. The ones that are like, we know who didn't get their newsletter, and we choose that. We can't say they didn't get it.
Well, and one of the things that we do on our newsletter, because we've got a couple of different ways we do our newsletters. We do one that we email out that's just generic, just about the gym. And then we also have one for each of our different programs. So like our day program does a very specialized newsletter. On it, there's also calendars. So they, for example, one of the calendars has, try and do 5 bunny hops today. And if the kids can do all of the different activities and they can get turned in, they can get a prize or a treat or a credit. And so we try to do a little something different on each one so we can see how many get turned back in, how many the parents are actually reading, and it's helping the kids actually stay active with whatever they're doing outside of the gym.
The other thing that pumps up newsletter reading is if you put the promotions in there. We don't have the time and the staff right now to do this, but what we did do was every promotion went through the communications people, and they would put a whole section in there, level 1 to level 2, Ed Jose, instructor Carla. And those names being published generated a tremendous amount of readership. And plus the coaches got a little bitty for promoting another child. So put something that's likely to be read, and I think will be more successful. We're not happy with our newsletter thing. We're learning.
Yeah, always learning.
Any other, so let me ask this, the large gyms, do you guys use these tools we've talked about today? Okay. How about the small gyms? Medium size, 700 is the area where we were when we finally decided we had to break out into quite a larger size. So the 700 level gyms, are they using these AdWords places, that kind of thing?
Not as much as it could be.
Okay, well, good, we've got an idea that'll work. So, can we quit? Okay,
Do we want to talk about branding?
we can talk about branding, but I have time for it after lunch.
Oh, great, we love it.
Okay, thanks lunch.
So lunch will be here in about 10 minutes. We have sandwiches, and what we'll do is we'll put some of the sandwiches in the tables up here and some in the staff room because, we have a little bit of a space issue. Brian, is there anything you need to share at all or?
Nothing to share if anyone wants to talk.
Oh, hi.
I'm here.
Okay, good. So, just for you, that's